Okay, so hello, YouTube, and just a quickish little one here. So my thoughts and quick, review or reaction to Johnny English Strikes Again. So this is obviously Ron Atkinson's return to the role of Johnny English, and Johnny English Reborn I think came out in 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was 2011. So we've had basically, effectively, a 7 year gap in between these two. Just note, this is not a full review. This is basically just my thoughts. I saw the film today. It came out on the 5th, and obviously I've saw it on the 6th, and that was my brother, and the both of us thoroughly and utterly enjoyed it. So basically, I'll say this straight away. If you like the other Johnny English films, you're going to like this one. If you didn't like the others, you're not going to like this one. There we go. Viewing done with over with. But if you've never seen it before, this you could start easily with this one because it doesn't really matter because basically, although there isn't really a massive continuity between each film and that, so there isn't a massive jumping on gap. But this is going to be completely spoiler free as well. But here's my initial thoughts on it. It was obviously really, really funny. For example, if you've seen the trailer on that, you'll see there's a bit where Johnny English has got a VR headset on and he's walking around and he doesn't realise he's in a public area. Just to note, that is the funniest part and my favourite part of the entire film. The trailer, the bits you see in the trailer do not do it justice. It is not just a quick little bit. It actually goes on for a good 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even longer, where it just gets more and more ridiculous as it goes on, but actually also more hilarious as it goes on as well. But I won't spoil, how it ends with that. And the villain in this, you'll know who the villain is. They do not try to hide it, which, to be honest, I quite like that. Something I also quite like, they don't waste time in basically starting off the movie. Basically, the first 2 minutes, just like, right, here's the threat, and the threat is that someone is hacking all of Britain's security and everything, so all their agents are compromised, and basically anything that connects to the internet is compromised as well. So they need an agent who isn't currently on their active list, and lo and behold, the only one that they've got is Johnny English. That's the only agent they've got, and they bring him back, and they don't waste any time with that. They just basically, Johnny English is back to doing in his spy gear and that within the first 10 minutes of the film. So I'm glad they don't waste, any time. It's just like, yeah, we know what you came here to see. There we go. Straight into it, which is really good. And actually get straight into all the action that. And I do quite like the opening sequence we get with Johnny English. Because since the last film, he's been working as a teacher for a school, like a private school, and he's been secretly teaching the children spy maneuvers and stuff like that, in secret. We don't really get a lot of that. So that in the film, that probably totals 5 minutes, if not that. It's even less, but it's such a good little thing. It's nice to see, Rowan Atkinson with Chew. I mean, who would not want to be taught by Rowan Atkinson? Or Rowan Atkinson as Johnny English. It just seems, such a fun and good thing in that. So I'm really liking that. In terms of the villain, like I said, the villain is Villain McObvious. Like the other two films, you will know instantly who the villain is. And the thing is, they make it so obvious that, it's a point where it's so obvious that you think, well, maybe they are going to go somewhere else. But no, it's obvious. It's so obvious, it's obvious. and yet your brain is thinking, well, surely, you know, maybe there's something else going on, but no, it is. The villain in this one, I thought it was okay. To be honest, I think the villain from the second film was better than this one. In terms of how I rate this film, total, I would say Johnny English Reborn is better than this one, but only very slightly, like marginally better. Then I would say this film, and then the original one comes under that. Look, to be honest, that is a compliment to this film, and that is really, really good. You know, I am definitely buying this on Blu-ray when it comes out. Hands down, no question asked, I am buying this on Blu-ray. So that's, you know, basically, if a film can convince me to do that, it's not only good, but it's also great and worth seeing again. So that's how I sort of rate this. In terms of shot and that, we do get some nice variety shots, and we also get a nice bit of basically comparing how basically spy work was done and that in the past, how it is now, basically, because obviously Johnny English thinks he is an older spy and that he's an old, you know, because Rowan Atkinson is older, and that's the nice way of basically he's basically an analog relic in a digital world. However, that is actually an advantage for him, because since he's such an old analog relic and that, it makes it harder for, you know, a villain that relies on all this digital technology and that to basically, like, for example, tracking him, and that they make a deal at the start where basically, you know, they make a joke where basically they say, right, you can choose, you know, any one of our hybrids or hybrids. Yeah, if you get that reference. And they all look exactly the same. And obviously Rowan Atkinson being Rowan Atkinson, you know, he wanted to drive a classic car. Was it an Aston Martin? I can't remember what he drove in this, but I remember in an interview he said he wanted this certain car. I don't know anything about cars at all, but he wanted this certain car to drive in the film, and that's what he drives. And to be honest, they do make a good argument saying, well, you know, the agency basically, MI7 basically says, oh, you can't, you know, why are you driving this? It has no GPS and that, so they can't track him. And to, you know, it has no fancy computer chips and that, which is a good legitimate reason as well. The action is really good in this. It's really funny. It is. It's a shame that you don't get really any comedies these days that are more slapstick like this is. Like for example, from the past and that, obviously, in particularly the 50s, you know, 30s all the way through to the 60s and that, basically all comedy films and that was slapstick. Like, for example, you had you know, stuff like Laurel and Hardy and stuff like that. But obviously, you know, this film embraces the slapstick. There is a lot of slapstick in this film, as well as other comedies and that, and it does have a nice Britishness to it as well. It's very British, and we also have the Prime Minister. I don't know who plays her, but basically it's a bit of a piss take on Theresa May, which, to be honest, I quite like that fact that we have a little bit of a piss take on her, and that's because clearly they got someone who vaguely-ish looks like her. To be honest, they probably just got her to get the same haircut as Theresa May, but that was a nice part of the film. I'm trying to say all this without really spoiling it. And to be honest, I don't want to spoil this. I think you should go into it just knowing it's a Rowan Atkinson playing Johnny. It's Rowan Atkinson doing the stuff that Rowan Atkinson does best, which is slapstick comedy. You know, this is really good, really funny. You're gonna, you know, if you like any of Rowan Atkinson's previous work, whether it be as Johnny English or Mr. Bean or in Blackadder or something else, you know, you're going to enjoy this film as well. It's a really good and solid film. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts on Johnny English Strikes Again. I might do a full review of it when it comes out on Blu-ray, so I can use some clips and that of it. Anyway, yeah, that does it for this video. Let me know if there is something you'd like me to review or cover in the future. I'll see you whenever, really. Bye-bye.